So now let's take a look at an example of how to include the like button in your web page. So you see here we have the like button and the send button. And if we go back to the page source, you see we have fb:like, which is an XFBML element, and there is an href which points to the page that the like button is going to be liking when the user clicks on it, and some other attributes that configure how the like button shows. This attribute here, send equals true, tells it to also include the send button, which allows the user to send a message to specific friends with a link to that page on it. So how do you get this syntax? You can look at our reference documentation, and for example here for the like button reference documentation, it tells you down here all the available attributes and what they do and how they control the behavior. You could also use the little tool or widget that we have here to help you generate the code that you then embed in your page. So you can copy the URL of the page that you want to like, and you go ahead and paste it here and configure a few options, like if whether or not you want the send button, the kind of layout style that you want, and how wide you want the div to be that contains the like button, whether or not you want to show a face file beneath the button, and whether you want it to say like or recommend, the color scheme, light or dark, and if you want to specify a particular font, you can do that as well. And then you click on get code, and it shows you here 3 different options. One is for HTML5, where it shows you here the code that you would include to pull in the JavaScript SDK, the JS SDK. And then down here is the markup that you would include to show the like button with the parameters that you specified, or the settings that you specified. You could also get an XFBML version of that. Same code for including the JS SDK, but then the markup is different for its XFBML markup. And you can finally include an iframe version. I actually selected send equals true here, which is XFBML only, so it was telling me that I can't do the iframe version. I turned that off, so now I can do the iframe version. And as I mentioned earlier, the iframe version tends to be lightweight because you don't need to include the JS SDK, but you lose some options, like in this example, I can't use the send button. And the one that I really recommend and prefer to use myself is the XFBML version, because the JS SDK is something you include once. So for example, if I were to go repeat this process for the comments plugin, I wouldn't have to include this section of the code again. I would only need to include the markup for the comments plugin to pull that into the page. So this is how to create a web page with the right metadata to control the properties of that object in the social graph, and then to include the right markup for the social plugins you want to show on that page, whether it's like, send, comments plugin, or any of these other social plugins that we have on this example page. The process is very similar. You just go find that plugins documentation on the developer site, you read about the different attributes and the markup, and you can use this widget here to get the code sample that you then include in your page.